everybody, welcome back to my channel. As you can see from the title, today's video is a book haul, which I'm really excited about. I have done a previous kind of book haul, but it was mixed in with a few things from different charity shops, and I got all of the books from charity shops, whereas today all of the books that I've got here are either from the Works or from Waterstones. If you're a book lover like me, you will know that in the Works at the moment they have some amazing deals, and they have a huge array of books that you can get for £3 for £5. Now that's probably been around for a while, but I've only just found out about it. So over the last, these purchases are probably from, well, they would be from over the last month. I didn't buy this many books in one go, and also my mum picked some up for me as kind of like a well done for the year. I've just finished my second year, and also I did a vacation scheme at a law firm, and you will see from my last video I also got offered a training contract at a law firm, which is the best thing I found. I'm so excited. So sorry to throw that in there, but I've only found out yesterday, so I'm so excited. But yeah, so she bought me some books as a well done. I am a student, I definitely don't have a lot of money, so the books that I bought out of this lot were just the £3 for £5 ones. So but I have got a lot, and this is all of the books now that I will be purchasing. We will see, because I'll probably get more, but so far these are all the books I will be purchasing for the rest of the year, and then I have loads on my Christmas list, but I have so many to read, so I'll be keeping you updated on what I've been reading as well. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it and tell you what books I've got. So the first lot of books that I want to show you are some that my mum bought me last month when I finished my exams. I don't have all three here because I finished the first one. I've left it back at my house in Nottingham because I was trying to pack light. I am home now for the summer back in Birmingham, which is why I don't have the book with me. But it is the Shadow and Bone trilogy. This is the second and third book from the Works. So you can get the trilogy all together in a set for £15, and as a student you can also get a student discount, so I got £1.50 off as well. So I think it's a really good price, like it's less than £5 per book, which is really good considering they're such popular books. But I will say they were kind of sealed up and things, but I do have found that these ones haven't worn amazingly well. There's no creases down the side. I have read this when I finished it off last week, but just across the top it kind of goes a bit white. It's not too bad with this one, but it did it a lot more with the first one. I carried it around with me a lot, and I don't think they're the best wearing books. I find that the cover, you can see here, it goes a bit like crinkly and a bit white. So if you are like the kind of person who likes your books to look pristine even if you've read them, I think maybe buy them individually and like check that the cover's the best quality that you want them to be. I'm not sure if that's a thing, but I just thought I'd let you know anyway, because you can't really check that. But I'm still really happy with them anyway. They're a really good price. I have read the first and second so far. Second is my favourite so far. Like, I just feel like it's got better from the first. So obviously the first, it's slower, you're getting to know the characters, and they introduce some amazing characters in this book that I really love as well, and I just couldn't get enough of this. I finished it so quickly. It's quite a chunky one. I finished it a few days ago. I would 100% recommend this trilogy. I'm going to be going on to the third one soon, but I'm actually going to read a couple of other books first, just because I want to kind of make myself wait for it, if that makes sense. I want to really have that anticipation and then kind of read it possibly when I'm on holiday at the end of the month. I think that would be really nice. But if you haven't read them, which I'm sure a lot of you probably have because they're extremely popular, and the show is also out on Netflix that I've started watching, which is really good. But if you haven't read them, I really recommend it. I've never been the biggest fan. It's not like I've read a lot of them anyway, but I wasn't the biggest fan of fantasy books. I think I kind of went into reading over the last few years. I liked a lot of classics, and then I've also read a lot of young adult kind of romance books, and I never really read a lot of this kind of thing. I mean, I've read like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and stuff when I was younger, Hunger Games, Harry Potter, all those kind of things, but I never really dived into anything else, and I am now really drawn in, and I think I prefer reading fantasy books to any other genre. It might be because these ones are so good. But yeah, if you haven't picked them up already and you want to give them a read, I definitely recommend getting the deal from the Works. The next two books again are from my mum, and I'm just going to keep on the same Shadow and Bone theme. So for anyone who doesn't already know, Shadow and Bone is part of the Grisha verse, which is kind of like a set of lots of different books, all by the same author, all set in kind of the same universe. And I'm sure you've heard of this if you have been watching anyone on Book Talk or BookTube. It is the Six of Crows duology, which I'm so excited about. So I've heard this is even better than Shadow and Bone. They are huge and I'm so excited to get into them. This was my gift from my mum this week. These are my books from Waterstones, the only two that I got from Waterstones. I do find that it is quite expensive in there, but it's so lovely to go in there and kind of have a look at the books and things. But I had been searching online for these two books, and a lot of places I could find them for £12 for the two to buy them online. And when I went into Waterstones, they had a buy one get one half price deal on all of the different Grishaverse books that they had in store. And then also on top I could get 5% off with student discounts, so this still ended up being about £12, and I got to have them straight away. If I'd ordered them, I would have had to wait. I'd have them straight away, and I could see that these, you know, they're just perfect. They're such nice quality, and I just think it was nice to get them straight away. And my mum picked these up for me. I was going to buy them. I was umming and ahhing about it because I wanted them so bad. I almost felt like a child almost leaving the store without them, so with my boyfriend earlier in the day. So she actually took me back there when I told her about it and bought them for me, which I just feel so grateful and so lucky. And for anybody who doesn't know about these, you may do, but if you don't know about it and you have watched maybe the TV show Shadow and Bone, I started watching the TV show, and the character Kaz and all the people around Kaz who are on the other side of the fold, if you watch the show, and are going to make their way across almost towards Alina and Mal and stuff like that. They are not in the Shadow and Bone books, and I was so confused watching the TV show. I was saying to everyone, these people aren't in the book. Like, I don't know why. I like them, the new characters, but I was like, oh, they've added new people. Those characters are from these books, so that makes me want to read them even more. And then there was another duology, another Grishaverse duology that I want to get, which is about a character I really love from the second book that we were introduced to. I think I'm just going to wait till Christmas to get those because I've got so many books to read. But yeah, if you want to get these books, then have a look in Waterstones. The deal wasn't online, but it is in store, so pop in and you can get these both for about £12–13. Okay, so now I am on to the £3 for £5 books that I picked up from the Works. A lot of these books I've heard people talk about, or I was in there for ages just reading the blurbs of them to find out which ones I wanted to get. And then again, I got student discount, so I managed to get these for £4.50 rather than £5 for 3 books, and they're brand new books. Is amazing, and they've also got some really good ones there, and I want to get even more, so I'll probably be back in there again soon. So the first one that I picked up just at the top of the pile is The Last Caeser by Henry. It's covered with a sticker. Let me see if I can get the sticker off. Here we go. It is The Last Caeser by Henry Venmore Rowland. I picked up this book because again I wanted to get into a different kind of genre. I've never really read anything like this before, and because I picked two that I really wanted. This was in Nottingham last month, and they had less of a choice than they do in the £3–5 section back at home. But I picked two that I really wanted, and they didn't have the other ones that I wanted in there that I'd seen online. So I said to my boyfriend, pick a book from the shelf that you think I would like, or you want me to try and read, and that you would want to borrow once I've finished it. He probably won't, but he picked this one, and then I read the back and I was like, yes please. So it's Nero casts his madness over Rome in this epic historical Roman adventure. The tyrant Emperor Nero has no son and no heir. The ambitions of a few are about to bring untold corruption, chaos and bloodshed. And it just sounds really good, and it just sounds like something really different. It's not too long, and I'm really excited to get into this one. The next one I picked up whilst in Nottingham is one that I've heard a lot of people talk about on BookTok. It's The Beekeeper of Aleppo, and one of my best friends has also been reading this and she said she absolutely loves it. So I thought I'd pick it up for myself to read. So it says, in the midst of war he found love, in the midst of darkness he found courage, in the midst of tragedy he found hope. What will you find from his story? So Nuri is a beekeeper, his wife Afra an artist. They live happily in the beautiful Syrian city of Aleppo until the unthinkable happens and they're forced to flee. I'm not going to read the whole back of it, but if you haven't heard of this book before, that is kind of the gist of it. It's not the same at all, but it kind of reminded me of The Tattooist of Auschwitz, which I read recently, and I absolutely loved that book. I mean, it's just kind of the same sort of name. The Beekeeper of Aleppo, Tattooist of Auschwitz. It's probably not similar at all, but apparently it's a really emotional book. I love, if anybody's heard of Khaled Hosseini, A Thousand Splendid Suns, which is also set in a war-torn country, and I had to read it for my A-levels. It's one of my favourite books, and I think it also reminded me of that, of trying to flee a war-torn country and learning about a different culture. I just really wanted to give another book like this a go, and again, this is, it says a #1 international bestseller, and I managed to get it for like under £2, brand new. So have a look in the works if you want to read this one. The final book that I picked up was in Nottingham on the 3 for £5 deal. So the first time I went in to the works is The Switch by Beth O'Leary. So Books and Bargains here on YouTube, who has commented on a few of my past videos and I love watching her videos, has talked about this book before, and there's a few other Beth O'Leary books, including The Flat Share, which I'm sure I will pick up in the future if I like this one, that she's talked about and she really liked. So when I saw this, it made me think of her, and I was just like, I want to read that book because Charlotte likes it. So it sounds really, really nice. If you don't know what it's about, I'll read the back of it a little bit. So it says, after blowing a big presentation at work, Lena takes a 2-month sabbatical and escapes to her grandmother Eileen's house for some overdue rest. Eileen is newly single and about to turn 80. She'd like a second chance at love, but her tiny Yorkshire village doesn't offer any eligible gentlemen. A life swap seems the perfect solution. It just sounds so like nice, bubbly and sweet, which is something, the kind of books that I was really, really into a year or so ago. I stopped reading a lot when I went to university. This year's been the busiest year ever, so I haven't read, so that's why I'm getting back into it now. But this just sounds like the kind of thing I would have loved then. Also the kind of thing I feel like I can lend to my boyfriend's mum and grandma, who both love reading like romance and funny books and stuff. So I just thought I'm gonna give that a read this summer and then ask them if they want to give it a go, if I like it and recommend it. But yeah, it just sounds so nice, and I'm sure a lot of you have already heard of it, but if you haven't or you wanted to read it, then it's really affordable in the works. So now for my final 3 books that I bought. So I have had quite a lot over the last month. This is again from the works in the 3 for £5 deal that I bought whilst home a few days ago. You know Merry Hill, anybody in the Birmingham area, their works has a huge range, like even bigger than the one in Nottingham City Centre, so I picked up 3 really good ones. The first one is The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Duray. I'm really bad at pronouncing things, you guys will know from my last few videos, but I really love the colour of this book. First of all, like, it's just absolutely beautiful, and it's unlike anything that I have ever read before. I've heard people talk about this, said it's very good. It says, inside every girl is a louding voice to speak up for herself, for the girls who came before her, and for all those who will follow. As a third wife in a small Nigerian village, 14-year-old Aduni is expected to fade into silence, but Aduni will not keep quiet. She's smart, funny and curious, with an infectiously joyful spirit. It just sounds so nice. Again, like, I just can't wait to read all of these books. That's why I bought them. I literally can't wait to read them. And I just think this is going to be really inspiring and girl power kind of book, and I just can't wait to get into it. The next one is called The Phone Box at the End of the World by Laura Ime Messina, which is, it's inspired by a true story, which is even nicer because I love books inspired by true stories. So it says, on a windy hill in Japan, in a garden overlooking the sea, stands a disused phone box. For years, people have travelled to visit the phone box, to pick up the receiver and speak into the wind, to pass their messages to loved ones no longer with us. When Yui, I think it's Yui, loses her mother and daughter in the tsunami, she wonders how she will carry on. One day she hears of the phone box and decides to make her own pilgrimage there to speak to the people she loved the most. I think it just sounds really different, again, to anything I've ever read. It sounds almost like heart-wrenching and sad, but then I love books like that make you feel an emotion. Some of those books there make me feel, I'm sure will make me feel really happy and inspired, and then I think this one will have a similar effect with maybe a bit more sad, but also I'm sure really inspiring and makes you think about family and how much you love your family, which I love books like that. And I just think it sounds lovely, and I don't think I've ever heard people talk about this one. They probably have. I'm kind of only just getting into kind of booktube and book talk. But yeah, I will obviously let you all know when I have read this over on my Instagram at Study Life Home, and then also on here I'm sure I'll do a wrap up at the end of the summer to let you know all of the books that I've read, but this is definitely one I want to try and read this summer. And then last but by no means least, I picked up another fantasy book. Now, I was going to pick up all three from this trilogy on the 3 for £5. This is Daughter of Smoke and Bone, which sounds very similar to Shadow and Bone, but I wanted to get another fantasy trilogy just because I think it's really nice to have like a set of books to read like that follow on from each other. I'd never heard of this before, but I read the back and I liked the sound of it, and then I decided because I wanted to try some of the others, I would just read the first one and then I can pick up the other two in the 3 for £5 deal. Fingers crossed they will still be there in a couple of months' time, but if I really like it I will definitely pick up the other two. So it says, in general, then this name, I'm not going to be able to pronounce, Karu has managed to keep her two lives in balance. On the one hand, she's a 17-year-old art student in Prague. On the other, errand girl to a monstrous creature who is the closest thing she has to family. Raised half in our world, half in elsewhere, she has never understood Brimstone's dark work, buying teeth from hunters and murderers, nor how she came into his keeping. She's a secret even to herself, plagued by the sensation that she isn't whole. I just think that sounds really good and really interesting. And I think one of the characters' names is Kaz, which is the same character name from Six of Crows. I'm probably going to be like, oh my gosh, so many of the same names, so many of the same kind of themes. But I will let you all know if I enjoy this and if I recommend this trilogy as well, as someone who did really enjoy Shadow and Bone, and then I'm sure I will pick up the other two if I like this one. So yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure it was quite a long one. I'm sure the more book videos I'll do, the quicker and more succinct I'll get about explaining why I bought each book, but this is my first kind of real dedicated book video. I'm so excited to read those books, and I hope you've enjoyed this video and I've kind of inspired you to go out and get some books, especially from the Works. If you haven't been already, you will spend so much money in there. You could get, you know, 9 books for £15. Like, that's probably even cheaper than what I could get from a charity shop at some times, because they can be a bit more pricey if they're in good quality. Yeah, I really enjoyed filming this video, and I will see you all in the next one.